Keeping great tenants is the most cost-effective strategy for any landlord. Happy tenants means fewer vacancies and fewer headaches. By building trust and addressing concerns promptly, you can keep your best tenants for years, saving you money and stress. But neglecting tenant retention leads to higher turnover, costly vacancies, and potentially poor reviews. So let's talk about how to make tenants want to stay. So I've been a landlord for a long time, 26, 27 years. And, I want to talk about the concept actually of what I call deal breakers. As you get more into being an experienced landlord, there's going to be these points of contention, these deal breakers that a tenant is going to raise to you. And it's the one thing that drives them crazy enough that they will either leave mid-term, break their lease, or they're not going to renew their lease. And let me give you an example. I think it was a second or third property that I had purchased. And it's, an old property, stone foundation, lots of air drafts, and you named it, mice. Okay. So obviously we have a tenant in there. It's not pleasant. There's mice droppings almost on a daily basis. Now we're trying to take care of the problem. We've got our pest control there, but it's not a great situation. However, what this tenant wasn't complaining about the mice droppings necessarily. What she was complaining about, what drove her crazy, was there was one plug cover, those little plastic plug covers, 15 cents at Home Depot. There was one that was missing behind the couch in the living room. Now you would think, I don't know, who cares? Now, I know it's against code. I know they're supposed to be there, but it was literally behind the couch. And we're trying to, paying hundreds of dollars for pest control to go in there once a week, trying to get rid of this problem, plugging holes in the foundation, this very leaky, airy house. And yet we're getting daily phone calls. When you putting this cover plate on? When you putting this cover plate on? Finally go over there. Of course, again, like I said, 15, 20 cents for this plastic plate. I think I had a spare one in my toolbox, and that quieted everything down. And she actually ended up staying for years, even though it took probably 6 months to finally eradicate those mice. My point is that a 20-cent cover plate was her deal breaker. And why was it a deal breaker? Well, she had a 12-month-old that was crawling around. Likely she was, and rightfully, she was scared and concerned that they were going to put their finger into the light socket or the plug, and without a cover, and get electrocuted. I've always said, I think I've said it in previous podcasts, even on Investing to Win, you need to look at your customer and their journey, their experience through their lens. Okay. So that means if there's something that isn't done in a timely basis, it might not be, that concerning to a typical landlord. But I think, you have to make sure that you look at that and say, how would I feel? Okay. So I'll give you some other tips that I would to retain good tenants. Okay. Number one, I'd say build strong relationships. You want to build strong relationships by responding quickly to maintenance, offer lease renewal incentives, and maybe some upgrades or discounts, and maintaining the property. And I'll go through each of those. So we talked about maintenance, sort of, but let's talk about quickly responding to maintenance requests and tenant concerns. Now, when I say responding quickly, that if you have an after-hour emergencies like we do, if you're a larger company, or even leaving your phone on for your tenants to call you at 2:00 in the morning on a Friday night, because there's no heat, because there's a fire, because there's a water leak, again, you don't know. So responding quickly to those emergencies, but even whatever it might be. Okay. If you are, let's say it's a Friday, it always happens, and the hot water tank starts leaking or it stops. Okay. And you're going away to the cottage for the weekend, or you're going camping, or whatever it is, you have to take care of it. Now, no hot water is not technically an emergency. Looking at the situation through the lens of your customer, how would you feel if you didn't have hot water all weekend? You have relatives coming over, you've got young kids, you can't take a bath, you can't give them a bath. It would drive you crazy, and probably enough to say, my landlord doesn't care about me, I'm out of here, right? So, another thing that you might not think is that important could be air conditioning. Okay, air conditioning goes out, you call your furnace person, HVAC, they say they're going to take care of it. You go away camping, and you're getting your phone's ringing off the hook because it's 35, 40 degrees outside. Again, that's Celsius. If you're listening to this from the US, 90, 100, 110 degrees. And if it was you would lose your mind. At least I know I would, right? So approach the situation with empathy. Make sure that you're looking through everything with the lens of your tenant, and then respond quickly to those maintenance concerns. Another point I mentioned, offering lease renewal incentives. So you want to consider small upgrades. So that could be, maybe, I say small, but you could actually do things like painting, kitchen upgrades, maybe upgrading the appliances, maybe finally, that old dryer that sounds like it's going to run away on you when it's going through its cycle, or even rent discounts. Now, you might not want to give a rent discount because maybe you think you're not making any money already on the cash flow, but consider this. A rent discount of $50 is $600, okay? A lot of money, I agree. However, in the big picture, if they leave, how much is it going to cost you to do the little upgrades and little painting and little things like that? And then you're going to have to leave it vacant for a month. And let's say the rent is $2,000. Would you spend $600 or give up $600 to not risk losing $2,000 in rent plus another $500? Or maybe you have to paint the whole place because now that the furniture from your tenant that has lived there for years and years is away from those walls, now you have a $2,000 paint job. So that $600 decision, $50 a month, just cost you $4,000. Okay. So small upgrades or large upgrades, rent discounts. I talked about being responsive on maintenance, but you want to also maintain the property. You want to show you care by keeping the property in top condition. So that could be making sure that it's clean, good flooring, paint, but it also could be, if it's a multifamily property, the common areas. Okay, making sure if you've got a small apartment block that the laundry machines are always clean, that the lint traps are empty, that the mailboxes in the front, there's no recycling kicking around and blowing around you. You have a proper place for that. You're cleaning the windows properly. You're cleaning the hallways. The hallways have proper lighting. It looks inviting. Consider, again, looking through the lens of your customer, if your unit in this apartment block looks nice, you've taken care of it, you treat it like a home, you invite people over and they have to walk through this disgusting entryway. Maybe the door's not locking properly, so there's a security concern. Then they walk through this dark and dingy, stinky hallway with inadequate lighting, finally to get to your unit. It's embarrassing. And the first thing that's going to occur to them when you send the lease renewal to them is, should I be staying or should I leave? Okay. I mentioned having a personal touch. So you might want to, again, it's all about relationships. You could send holiday greetings. You could check in periodically. I mean, everybody has a different personal touch. I remember my ex-business partner, I came in there and he was drinking a beer on the couch with the tenants. So nothing wrong with that. But again, if you get too close, somebody might want to take advantage of your good nature, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, Garrett's a great guy and he's not going to care if my rent is late. Okay, so it's super important just to maintain those boundaries, but maintain the relationships too. There's other things that you can do. Again, holiday greetings or gift cards or gift baskets at Christmas, holidays, whatever it might be. So in summary, tenant retention is all about excellent service, proactive communication, and showing appreciation. You might find our tenant retention strategy guide really helpful. It's packed with tips to keep your tenants happy and loyal. Click the link in the show notes to get it. We'd be happy to send it to you. Thanks for watching today.